Welcome everyone to tonight's Kraken Security Summit. Very excited to hear from them and how they're going to help us stay a little bit safer. Now, we always seem to have issues with this clicker over their heads.
Keep it full.
Well, as soon as I touch it. All right,
Let me put the focus back.
Next slide. All right, so we'll just do next slide, please. So quick little rundown. I'm going to do some welcoming and announcements. Matt's going to come up, talk about some upcoming events. Then we're going to hand it over to Lisa Hornery for, I said that wrong. Hornery, sorry. There's a nervous thing. And then some more networking afterwards. But just before we get started, I just want a quick show of hands. Who's first time in this room? All right, I love that. It makes me so excited. Well, welcome to ATB's home. Quick little announcement for everyone to give that are our regulars. We will be moving next year back to the precinct. Okay, so enjoy the next couple of months here. This has been our home for the last 2 years, but just for those regulars, I'm going to give you lots of notice. December's meetup will not be here. Anybody that needs to use the restrooms, there's a sign there. You just go straight to the right. Also, there's security exits are there should anything happen. And then one last quick question. Who here has been in crypto under 6 months? All right, we got no. All right, good. Under a year? All right, who's been rugged? All right, a few hands. All right, we've got your target audience in the room. All right. And also welcome to everyone online. We know that we are started live streaming. So quickly, for those of you that haven't had a chance to meet me, my name is Danielle Marie. I wear lots of different hats in the space. So I'm your Web3 super connector. I'm the head blockchain trainer for TAFE Queensland. So for any of you that are interested in studying the diploma and live in Queensland, you can study it for free. Amongst a whole bunch of other things that I do, if you want to get in contact with me, go ahead. LinkedIn is the best place to reach me. My most newest role is I'm the CXO for D4 Consultancy. So we basically help enterprise to government to Web3 gaming projects enter in the market. So that's enough about me. All Things Blockchain, for those of you that are new into the room, I founded All Things Blockchain in 2020 with a vision of creating a meetup organized by the community for the community. Now, although I am the driver and behind it, it is a full nonprofit and it runs based off of a team. So I couldn't do it without the team. And I'd like to give them a big round of applause for everything, all the food, the drinks, everything. And I'm actually really proud because I didn't do anything today. It was all up to the team. I'm going away next month and they managed to pull it all off. So big thank you and congratulations to them. But you know, it wouldn't happen without their contribution. So we want to make a quick little announcement. We're in the process of onboarding our 2025 sponsors. So these are two of our newest sponsors. You're going to learn a lot more about them. So I'm not going to ramble on about them tonight. But we are onboarding our 2025 sponsors. So if there's anybody in the room or somebody that might know somebody that would want to jump on board, we are looking to secure those. So we have a whole bunch of different sponsors. If you are interested in learning more about them, you can go onto our website. We have more information on each of them, links to their websites. You can also go on Meetup and learn a little bit more about them as well. These events wouldn't happen without them. So the food and the drinks and location, all thanks to them. So we always want to give them a big round of applause. Now, we also have collaboration partners, okay? Now, these partners are other organizations that are either nonprofits or are focused on building community. And we actually have Wave of Innovation, which we've just focused a collaboration with. And I think it's Bill. You want to stand up just so anybody from wants to meet Bill from Will, I can't speak today. Wave of Innovation. We're going to be collaborating with them. So please go introduce yourself and give them a big warm of a welcome. And so we really appreciate you being here and look forward to collaborating with you. And they're going to have some conferences and stuff coming up and we'll work together. Off-chain, for any of you that like to go global events, you can go to Off-chain website and you can look for events globally. Women in Digital Economy is one of my passion projects that I'm launching a mentorship program in the Australian Crypto Convention, which is actually in November. And Matt will talk a little bit more about that in just a moment. So we're growing and we're going global, actually, and we're really focused on trying to grow online, even though that hasn't been our focus. So if you're not following us already, we would really appreciate for you to give us a follow. You know, we can host these meetups and drive community, but we really need your support. So we would really appreciate if you give us a follow on LinkedIn. We have the community hub that we have started. It is basically, not a community hub, the directory. It is basically categorized into different use cases. And you can scan that QR code, you can opt in, and you'll basically get access to that. It's like a Notion board, and we've basically put a whole bunch of different use cases in there. So being an educator, I come across so many different platforms, and then I'll be like, oh, what was that project? And it's like, oh, and so we created the directory. So you can go and connect with that. Now, I'm going to bring it over to our community and events manager, Matt Hooper. Welcome.
Thank you, Danielle. Yes, this is something of a dry run. Next month, Danielle won't even be in the building, so she'll be zooming in from somewhere. Where are you going to be? Dubai or something? Oh, my stars. I'm so jealous. Travel envy. Speaking of travel, my usual regular travel segment. I know there's a couple of people from Sunny Coast. Where's John Plummer? John Plummer, survivor. He's all the way down from the Sunny Coast. Our esteemed speaker tonight has also travelled all the way down from the Sunny Coast. Can anybody come from further than Sunny Coast? I know we've got Byron Bay Hinterland with Peter Tippett. Oh, Agnes Water, Electra. She's doing well to be with us again. Thank you, Electra. Last time she came from Tennessee or somewhere. So welcome to everybody who's travelled. My name is Matt Hooper. I'm a technologist, and I enjoy bringing you these events each and every month. The Community Hub, those of you who have been following along at home, is one of the latest innovations that Danielle and one of our other committee members, Finlay, have been championing. He's a young, I think, student of Danielle's, and he's been writing some of the content, or maybe sneakily using AI, who knows, to write some of the content on upcoming events around the country in our new Community Hub. They've released that on LinkedIn, and if you're like me, I spend a lot of time on LinkedIn. I actually get a lot of signal on LinkedIn, even in the crypto, the blockchain space, DLT space. I've seen the ability to subscribe on there. And I'm getting a prompt.
That's actually, yes, that's true.
Yes.
Paragraph.
Oh, yes. It's on Paragraph.
You'll be rewarded. But
Goodness gracious. Paragraph.xyz. Yeah, paragraph.xyz. For those playing along at home, there was a comment that it's also available on Paragraph. What's that? A subscriber?
Yeah.
Goodness gracious. Danielle is an absolute warrior. She is churning out the AMAs, and the next one is with Effie, who many of you will know. She's involved in the AUDD program with Novati, and she's got I'm going to be talking to Danielle. I think that must be next Monday already.
No, that's actually incorrect. It's not an AMA. That's my bad. She's actually going to be giving a lesson.
It's a lesson. Okay. Educational content. That's what we do here at ATB, is provide educational content. All those details are going to be on our meetup that was launched a while ago. It's on meetup.com anyway. Danielle also has charged herself with organising what has turned out to be a massive event around Token 2049 in Singapore. So any of you lucky ducks who are heading up there, that's my travel envy again, any of you who are heading up there, you might want to check out that event on Tuesday, September 17, which must only be, 2 weeks away. So check that out. That's been advertised on Luma. Here is an AMA with Tori West, who those of you who were at the Upside event last week at SwiftX would have met. She compared a panel. Tori West is a crypto aficionado herself, but she recently competed at the Olympic Games, and she's in partnership with BTC Markets and others in the crypto space. Danielle has latched onto her because we love our females in tech, and she is hosting an AMA with Tori at the end of the month on the 30th. Special announcement: our friends at Labris, one of our long-standing sponsors, always bring what is quite a technical deep dive usually. We're going to dive into the philosophy and the technicalities of living a fully Web3 life. So that'll be quite interesting. I'm going to be interested to see how that develops in the next few weeks as that talk comes together. But Emilio Barbieri, one of our friends, a regular attendee, is going to be giving that talk right here, same bat channel, same place in a month. Our good friend Darren Rogan down the Gold Coast, he's lucky enough, there's my travel envy for the third and hopefully last time, he's going to be in Singapore. He loves nothing more than telling us how wonderful it was when he comes back, and I'm sure he'll have some technical turkey that he can talk there. Darren, always entertaining, and that's also he's always the last Monday of the month, Monday the 30th. For those of you who like to travel to things interstate, I will be travelling to this one. This is the Blockies put on by Decca. Now, for our New Zealand friends, I've got to go here again. Amy Rose on a webinar on Friday said they want to call it, it's DECA, right? So they want to call it DECA. Now, I have to hear this quickly from our New Zealand friends. The reason she gave was that Deca would be easier to say or more understood than Deca. But is that true, Kiwi friends? Where's Rachel? Where's my other Kiwi friend? No, so I'm not sure about this Deca thing. But look, again, I'm doing this to make the point that they've rebranded as the Digital Economy Council of Australia. Any more Kiwis? No, it doesn't make sense. No, Deca. I don't know what we do with it, but anyway, I'm getting the brand out there by having this rant every time. It's the Digital Economy Council. It's a Swish venue, so it's worth getting your ticket. It's only, I think, $120 or something like that. There's a discount code, if you remember, also that comes out in their monthly member bulletin emails. Looks like a nice swanky venue at the Rocks in Sydney, so I'm going to try and be there. Might be black tie, I'm not sure. Also, speaking of Deca, that's how she wanted it said. Also, speaking of Deca, they are trialling with our sponsors, Hashlock, a new app. So I normally talk about the events calendar each month. That events calendar is going to be part of this app. It's going to be a go-to place, something that's really valuable, I think, for the crypto industry. If you are interested, you can sign up on that URL. We'll have a clickable QR code because Danielle's mad about those, and they are very accessible. We'll make sure we have a clickable QR code for you next month to access that one. For now, though, you'll have to go to a boring old URL. By taking a photo of it. But it is that will be quite good. Really excited to see that. I've signed up and I'm waiting to hear back from them for the beta test. AusCryptoCon, now only really 2 and a bit months away, is in Sydney at the International Convention Centre on the 23rd and 24th of November. If you use the code ATB10, you'll get a little 10% off discount there with your fees. And those ticket prices do go up in stages as you approach the convention. So it's probably worth jumping in. Date claimer, it's getting towards Christmas time. My friends in the Philippines, I know, have already started to put up Christmas decorations in shopping centres. There's Christmas music playing. I don't know if we've quite got that going here yet, but I'm sure it's not far away. And that will be a chance for you to see me and my comrades in those funny headgears again on the 4th of December. And that will be actually at the precinct, for those of you who know the precinct in the Fortitude Valley, where we used to have our meetups. We're doing a trial run / Christmas party, just on a regular Wednesday night it'll be, but we're going to make it lots of fun. So that's a date claimer for that. And we'll advertise that each month as we get closer. That's enough from me. We're going to hand over to our expert in the compliance and regs and scam space, Lisa Hornery, all the way from Sunshine Coast, from Kraken.
Yep. Thanks, Matt. Well, isn't it nice to be up here instead of in the audience for once? And I've got a captive audience, and I'll talk all things crypto and all things compliance until you all decide to fall asleep. No, I'm just joking. Hi, my name's Lisa Hornery. I am the Regional Compliance Officer for Kraken in Australia. I started just a very quick history so that you believe that I am qualified, because in compliance, we always trust, but then we have to verify. So my my verification is that I started as a floor trader on the floor of the Sydney Futures Exchange. So I'm very TradFi. I started in TradFi, but I've got a very strong understanding of the markets. Then I moved to screen trading, and then I moved into compliance. And I've been in compliance for about the last 20 years, because I think I started when I was about 2. So yeah, about the 20 years in compliance, and probably the last 5 or so, I would say, that I've been concentrating on the crypto industry and the regulations. I've been with Kraken for nearly 2 years now as their compliance officer. And I would have to say that this has come at a very timely, well, it's very timely. It not only has it been National Scams Week last week, but also I would have to say that there are some days where I would spend up to 95% of my time on scammers, how to stop them, how to protect our consumers, and how to protect consumers in general. And although everybody here is probably thinking, oh, you know, I know a lot about scams and I know a lot about crypto, so I would never get sucked in. Honestly, the message that if you take away anything is, seriously, you can never be too careful. Honestly, it's just so scary what is out there. It's ridiculous. Anyway, having said that, let's dive in. That's me. You know that bit. As a compliance person, I always have to put a summary up so everybody knows where they're going and what we're doing. But that's just an overview of what we're doing tonight. The first thing that I would say that is in the last year or so, cryptocurrency adoption in Australia has gone through the roof, and approximately 1 in 5 Australians now own some form of cryptocurrency. Bitcoin being the most popular one. As of this afternoon, the market cap worldwide for cryptocurrencies was $3.1 trillion. In Australia, it's approximately, the market cap is sitting at around approximately 2.1 billion. So just under 10% of the Australian, well, I guess you've got to take into account the exchange rate. Don't worry about that. But 2.1 billion Australian dollars is the market cap at the moment. And that's a small portion, but it's 3.1 trillion worldwide. And in the last 24 hours alone, $79.5 billion was traded in the crypto markets. So there's a lot of adoption, and as Danielle's quick anecdotal survey showed, everybody here is actually quite experienced with crypto, and they know what it is. But there is a lot of as Spider-Man would say, with great power comes great responsibility. And even though we might think we know what crypto is, the scammers are always going to be one step ahead of us. And there's a lot of technology and a lot of features and characteristics of crypto that lend itself very well to scammers. The Australian government has been, up until very recently, has been very proactive in trying to get crypto regulated. And I know that ASIC are really all for the consumer, the mum and dad investor, to make sure that they're protected. But as everyone can see, and if anyone watches a current affair, there's always somebody that's getting scammed by somebody and somehow. And unfortunately, crypto is not immune to that. The crypto environment is not immune to that. I took these numbers from the National Scams Centre. The website is actually quite informative, and you can filter out which scams you want to have a look at. So here I just looked at the top 3 that they're the ones that Kraken deals with on a daily basis, or any environment. Investments, romance, and phishing scams are the biggest ones. You can see here that up until the end of July, these figures are for January to July 24, $126 million. And this isn't all of the scams. This is just some of them. So 95,000 scams have been reported, and these are the only ones that are reported. So don't even ask me about victim shaming. I think that can be a whole nother ball game. But these are the ones that people feel confident enough to report. There is a lot more that go unreported, especially romance scams, because I think there's a lot of shame that's involved when it comes to being a victim of a scam, because you think, how can I be that stupid? Full disclosure, I've been scammed, and I'm a regional compliance officer. I decided that the Mimco outlet website was too good to be true. Oh my God, yes. And I actually bought a handbag from there and never got it. Why didn't I get it? Because when it's 70% off and it's a Mimco outlet, it's too good to be true. And even though it had all of these verified ticks and everything else, and even though I looked at the contact us page and everything else, I didn't realize that it was a Gmail address that it was a contact address. And then when my credit card, much to my husband's delight, bought a Perspex plastic kids toy from a website in Germany, did I realize that I'd been scammed. So listen, I'm not saying, well, no, I am saying I'm an expert. I'm standing up here, right? But it can happen to anybody. So that gives you a fairly good idea of what we're dealing with. And you can also see that obviously New South Wales and Queensland are going to be the highest there because of the population density, but it's a very serious issue for the economy in general. Imagine what we could do with $126 million. That's right. The impact of scams. Well, obviously, you know, there's this financial impact, not only for the victims, but also just for the economy in general. It takes time, it takes resources, and it takes effort to report a scam, to investigate a scam, to solve a scam. And as I've said, like I can spend up to 95% of my time some days on these scams. We have whole departments, literally hundreds of people that are in financial investigations and the fraud department. Compliance alone at Kraken is actually represented by about 30% of the workforce. So we've got nearly 3,000 people working for us worldwide, and 1,000 of those are in compliance. Oh, it's not working.
Oh, sorry. Try again.
Okay. Oh, okay. There you go. We're coming up a bit. So the main impacts of scams obviously are a financial loss, but they're also emotional distress, like I've been talking about, victim shaming. There are family breakups. There are people who can't believe that, you know, mum lost all her money on whatever, or dad was that silly to believe that that woman online really loved him, or whatever it was. And also, you know, it creates mistrust. It creates mistrust not only between people, but also between, but also it actually affects the market integrity of the industry as a whole. Because how many times have you heard, oh, right, you're into crypto. Isn't that one just one big scam? And I think it gives crypto a bad name, and I'm happy to be defensive about that. But also I think it just generally muddies the waters when it comes to people wanting to learn more. And I think it's great that, you know, there's so many people here from different walks of life, different age groups, different occupations that are willing to learn more about crypto, and that's where the trust comes in. But it's people that don't necessarily know what they're talking about, or people that just see a tabloid story in passing, where the mistrust comes in. And also it means that people aren't necessarily happy to talk to the government about it or report it. It can't be a crypto presentation without a meme. So that's a meme. That's a phishing meme. Right, anatomy of a scam. Oh, sorry. Okay. I think we all know what a scam is. I'm not going to go over and over it, but this is going to be these are probably the 6 main points to look out for when we're talking about what a scam looks like. It's going to be too good to be true. There's going to be a great opportunity to make some money. The WhatsApp group that all of a sudden found your number and is now texting you and saying, hey, you know, join us, this will be great. Or this, I sat next to a woman coming down from Sydney, flying down to Sydney a couple of months ago, and she told me about a Facebook group that she came across that were wanting her to, they were going to teach her how to trade crypto, and all she had to do was put in $50. So she put in the $50 and bing, bang, boom, she got some money back. And then they said, okay, but if we want to take you to the next level and you really want to know what, you know, what crypto trading is all about, you're going to have to put in $200. She's like, okay, I don't want to do that. And they rang her and they rang her and they rang her. And in the end, she said, if you don't stop ringing me, I'm just going to forward your texts to the ACCC, and then they can have something to say about it. And they never rang again. But it was too good to be true. So if it's an incredible deal or an offer, and the Mimco outlet sales says you can get your handbag for 70% off, don't believe them. You've got the sad stories and the cries for help, like the romance scams. You know, my grandmother's sick, she needs an operation, all that kind of stuff. You can, links to fake websites, QR codes. I know we've been talking about QR codes here all night, and we're all legit, Matt, because this is we're in a safe space. But QR codes, the head of security at Kraken is always telling us, do not click on the QR code. There was a place up in, there was a Thai restaurant up on the Sunshine Coast, and they kept getting all of these complaints because their orders weren't, that people were coming to pick up their orders and their orders weren't ready. And that's because the QR code that was on the menu of the takeaway menu actually sent them to somewhere else. So the scammers were picking up the money, thinking they were ordering, and the customers were thinking they were ordering, and they weren't. So be very careful. And of course, when you get a text that's got, oh, click this link, don't click it. Please don't click it. Unless it's Coles and you're picking up your shopping that you've ordered, but don't click a link. Honestly, it's just really dangerous and big deal if you have to actually get out of the text and Google something and actually ring the number that's on the screen, or actually connect to the company via the official website. You may save yourself a lot of money. Pressure to act quickly, of course. No time to think, just do it, do it, do it, do it, do it. Isn't that how we all got our parents to do things when they're on the phone? Mum, 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 I need it now. Oh, yeah, fine. Because there's too much pressure to think. Don't think about it, just do it. Yeah, request to pay in unusual ways. That's not a, I don't need to explain that one. Pay in crypto, it's easier. And let's set up a new account. I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll set you up with a new account. Or even better, why don't you set up your account, but then you connect that account to this app, and then the app was just going to manage everything for you, and it's going to be great. That kind of stuff. They're like they're always going to get you some way. Common types of scams. Phishing. Tricking you into giving your details. Tricking you into giving your bank account. Looking at personal details. Oh, I really want to get to know you. I want to know everything about you. So tell me your date of birth, your cat's name, and the first street you lived on. Rug pulls. I think we're all familiar in this room with rug pulls. Let's all be part of a new startup. Oh, look, the price is rising, rising, rising. I'm just about to get out. Oh, what? There's nothing left? You're kidding me. And the founders have gone. Rug pulls have been a really good one, but I think for the more experienced crypto person, and if anyone came to the talk that Matt and that Matt had with actually I think it was with Jonathan from Kraken as well, but also a guy that was trading decentralized exchanges. He gave a really good talk on how to look out for rug pulls and what to look at when you're looking at an ICO. Ponzi schemes. Ponzi schemes, it's as old as the whatever, right? We all know about Ponzi schemes. Essentially, there's always going to be one big fish, and he's going to be able to fund everybody else by all of the new people coming in. And finally, impersonations or fake endorsements. I know David Koch is always going on about someone who's impersonating him online. I'm sure that a lot of you who watch YouTube videos get some people that have obviously got the AI mouth talking, saying, you know, I am Michael Saylor and I fully endorse this message. You know, like it's quite obvious, but AI is getting quite good. And then let's all remember that Kraken actually is actually quite big on the darknet, but not my Kraken, the other Kraken. In Russia, they stopped the traffic with these huge double-decker buses that were painted purple with big QR codes on them, and everyone thought they were signing up to Kraken, but what they were actually doing was signing up to the darknet, and it was giving them the availability for all sorts of illegal substances. And Kraken were trying to take over as the new Hydra darknet marketplace. So it can happen to anyone. Here's a couple of examples. BitConnect decided to tell everyone that they had a great trading bot that was going to be fantastic. And all you had to do is put your money in, and the Autobot was going to go, and it was going to make you all of this money, but it didn't. And then what happened was, when people realized that their returns weren't being met, they decided to sell out of it, but not before the founders did. And by the time the token crashed, there were people that were left with absolutely nothing. I think it was 95 countries, and it was, I've got it here, 2.4 billion. 2.4 billion was lost. And that was back in 2018. And in January 2023, one of the founders was ordered to pay back $17 million to approximately 800 victims. But there were still a lot of people, including those in Australia, that didn't get repaid. This is a case study. It's very loosely based on something I may or may not have worked through myself. But there was a client who got a call from a bank. Hi, this is XYZ Bank. There's been some nefarious activity on your account. Yeah, it doesn't look good. What we do in these cases is that we advise people to open an account with a crypto exchange. Oh, you don't have an account with a crypto exchange? Oh, no, don't worry about it. We'll help you do that. So we'll help you open an account with a crypto exchange and you just give us your details. We'll manage it for you. Yeah, no, we're totally from the bank. It's fine. We trust you. And then you will put your funds. What you do is take all of your funds out of the bank account, put them into the crypto account, and then we'll just keep it there for safekeeping while we work out what's going on with your account, your bank account. And then once everything's fine, you can move them back, okay? Unbeknownst to the poor person, the scammers then changed the password on the email that they'd set up for the client. And so therefore the client couldn't get back into the crypto account that they had opened unwittingly. And the clients, within 2 minutes of opening up the crypto account, changed the password and took all the money out. This client lost $15,000. It's not a lot, but it was a lot to them. And that's how easy it was. And she totally believed that the bank was ringing. And all she had to have done was actually go, you know what, I'm going to hang up now and then actually ring the bank. But because there was that, no, you don't understand. It's happening now. You've got to do it, There was pressure for her to actually make the decision. And that's something that she shouldn't have done. Oh, okay. So how does Kraken work through these scams? This is not exactly what we do because it's IP, but it's essentially the theme of how we do it. And this is how most of the digital currency exchanges in Australia would do something like this. We have fraud triggers. So we look at trading patterns, we look at dollar amounts, we look at how often the trading activity happens. We look at all sorts of things. We look at age, we look at the age of the account, the age of the client. Do they withdraw and deposit within the same day? What goes on? Like there is a slew of triggers that every single account is subject to. If any of those triggers are actually activated, then it goes to our fraud team. The fraud team then investigates. The agent has a look at it, has a look at a cursory look, some of the information, personal information of the client, what the client's doing. Yeah, you're right. You know what? This doesn't look right. So what they do is they triage that and they either close it immediately, given the rules that the rules and the parameters within which they're allowed to work. They refer it to compliance. So sometimes it comes to me, or it goes to FIU, which is our Financial Investigations Unit. The Financial Investigations Unit, I know we all, like at Kraken, we all work remotely, but you know how in Tom Cruise in Mission Impossible, where he's like just doing his normal thing and then he goes into the room and it's all dark and there's like a gazillion computers and that's what I reckon the FIU team would actually look like. Because what they do is insane. They look at, are they using a Samsung phone? Are they using an iPhone? What model is it? Where's the IP address? Did they use a VPN? Was there a pause? Was there remote access coming into the computer? Are they being coached? Was there another phone line in the background? It is insane what they do. And then they also use Google. So we've got all this open source intelligence, but then we've also got all of this insane intelligence. And not only that, we use products like TRM Labs and Chainalysis to actually track these accounts and these payments, and we can track them all the way through until they get to a mixer or they go to an anonymous account or somewhere else, that we can track these payments down. So then if the FIU agent receives it, right, the referral from fraud, or it could be from the AFP, it could be from anywhere, but 80% of our referrals are from fraud. The FIU agent investigates the account activity, and then if it's still deemed suspicious, it goes to AUSTRAC. Anything over $10,000 goes to AUSTRAC anyway, but any suspicious activity goes to AUSTRAC with that full story of the investigation. So if AUSTRAC have got a referral from someone else, whether it be the AFP or the Cybercrime Unit or the National Scam Centre, they can actually then match up all of that information, and then it goes. And that's how pretty much we do a fraud investigation. How to protect yourself. Well, you're all experts, so I'll just mic drop now, but do your research. Like I said, look things up. How many, just do a lot of research. Make sure that you do 100% believe is the evidence that the person is on the other end of the phone or the line is exactly who they say they are. If they're going to offer you investment advice, check their qualifications. Just check it. It's not that hard. Do they have a financial services license? Are they an authorised representative? Always do your checking. Check the online profile of whoever it is. How many followers do they have? How many posts have they made? Is it just a scam to get you to, feel like you're special and be sponsored? Or is it actually legitimate? Always check. Trust your gut. That's an easy one, right? I think a lot of times we go, oh, I know it doesn't feel right, but it's a bit awkward to, trust your gut. Use reputable exchanges. May I suggest Kraken? Use reputable exchanges. Always use someone that, unfortunately, AUSTRAC won't list the registrants of a digital currency exchange registration, but be assured that AUSTRAC actually lists the ones that they have deregistered. But all digital currency exchanges in Australia must be registered with AUSTRAC and adhere to the AML, which is anti-money laundering, and CTF, which is counter-terrorism financing rules. We must have programs, we must adhere, we have to submit a compliance report, and we are bound by the AUSTRAC obligations under the AML CTF Act of 2006. Always use reputable exchanges. And the other thing is really, for the more experienced of us, always be very aware of your security. Use secure wallets and hardware. Obviously, a wallet that you can take offline is off-chain is actually better than anything else, a cold storage wallet, but always be very, very secure and really make sure that you disconnect when you've finished your trading, everything else, because you just do not want any of those windows to be left open. Resources. Well, there's a really good exchange. I don't know whether you've heard of it. It's called Kraken. That's a QR code. It's a legit one. I've tested it. To the app and the website. The website is actually incredibly it's got a lot of resources on there. We have training, we have learning, we have support, and all of those things are actually available without having to have a Kraken account. So you can just log on to the Kraken website, kraken.com. It will take you to the Australian page. And then there are lessons, there are videos, there are articles, there's a blog, there's all sorts of things. And then there's also just your general crypto prices. So it's a very informative website. And I would encourage all of you, if you don't want to look at this one, you don't have to. There's others. I'm not going to mention them, but you know who they are. You can, most of the reputable exchanges will always have learning and support articles for you to be able to reference. Because at the end of the day, we're all working towards the one thing, right? We want crypto adoption, we want safe, we want stable market integrity, and we want to protect everybody from scammers. So where can you go if you've been scammed or if you want to learn more? Cyber.gov.au is an excellent website. Scamwatch.gov.au and also the National Anti-Scam Centre. They all pretty much tell you the same thing, but in different languages, as in different perspectives. There's questionnaires on there that you can fill out if you want. There's quizzes. There's stories about people that didn't think they'd ever get scammed and were scammed. And I find them actually I found them informative. And also 2 or 3 weeks ago, I was down in Melbourne working with the AFP and the Victorian Police. They have a working crypto group. And it was incredibly interesting because not only were there exchanges there was some surveillance people there was a whole slew of law enforcement, and we were talking about how to make things better and how these websites can actually do better for consumers and for those who are scammed, not only to report them, but also to learn more about them. And interestingly, in London, they've got a book that the Metro Police have put out called The Little Book of Crypto Scams. But it goes through everything and it's incredibly user-friendly, and it was a great resource. So I think that the Victorian Police are really looking to do something like that for education. ASIC and the ACCC are the two main regulatory bodies that would look after crypto. ASIC if it's a financial product, and the ACCC for everything else. So at the moment, all spot crypto products are not considered financial products. And so although we do answer to ASIC in terms of some of the activities that we do, it's the ACCC and the financial ombudsman, it's not the financial ombudsman anymore, it's AFCA, the complaints authority that actually take care of any issues in our industry. And we have heard from the ACCC in the past. AUSTRAC, obviously, we're beholden to AUSTRAC for all of our counterterrorism financing and anti-money laundering. And that's one of the main hurdles that scammers can't get past when it comes to trying to open up an account with Kraken. And lastly, the AFP and the just general law enforcement in general. I cannot convey to you how useful the working crypto group was when I was down in Melbourne last year, and I'm really looking forward to going back. And I think that the federal police are incredibly proactive in trying to get things done. A trainee police person takes 9 months to train to become a policeman. But only, and that's something like 800 hours. It's a ridiculous amount of hours, but they only devote 2 hours to financial crime. And so we've got to fit in crypto's got to be part of that. So what they're doing is that they're actually consulting with other law enforcement departments around the world, including the US Secret Service. And there was one guy there from the US Secret Service, and they're looking at basically, the easiest way to explain it is, he said, like, as long as we can get someone to recognize that it's a bomb, then we'll get an expert in who knows about the bomb to defuse it, as opposed to everyone going, oh, what's this? I don't know what this is. So when it comes to people seeing notes of paper with, passphrases or 24 words that make no sense, and they're floating that around, they don't know what they're talking about. If they know what they're looking at, then they can always pass it to an experienced person to deal with. And that's what the AFP are trying to do, is trying to, if anything comes across their desk, they're trying to investigate it and they're trying to educate. Takeaways. Like I said, stay informed. Come to more things like this. Read blogs. Listen to the news. I don't know if you want to watch a current affair, but just stay informed, because there's always a new scam. Technology and the way that crypto works means that they're always going to try and stay one step ahead. And it's ridiculous for everybody trying to be reactive and play whack-a-mole when it comes to scamming. We have to be reactive. So if you can stay vigilant, stay informed, exercise caution, it's going to really help. And also support regulation. The government at the moment isn't really focused on crypto regulation, but spread the word. Crypto is not a scam. Scammers might use crypto. Scammers use all sorts of things. But if you can stay supportive and stay aware, you can help increase the market integrity just by doing what you do. And that will actually then go a long way to support the industry as a whole. Yeah, any questions? Hello.
Might be able to sneak one in because I'm so close to the mic. My understanding was that there are various governments out there that might be maybe not that popular in like an international relations kind of area. And therefore, they have aspects of their economy which they more or less sanction kind of criminal organizations, or they don't punish them, might be a better kind of phrase. Do you know of any type of government initiative that is at that high level, basically trying to combat that. And if you like, how transparent are they about that kind of response? And is that kind of communicated to the industry? Because I think it can be a bit unfair if that's, you're targeting people who are basically more or less, in some respects, government sanctioned. Like that's a really hard game to win.
That's a good question. I wouldn't say that it's necessarily government sanctioned, government led, but I would say that there's a lot of law enforcement agencies and digital currency exchanges that actually lead that force. And although I hate the term, pig butchering is a big part of trying to bring down crypto scammers. And for those who aren't aware, pig butchering basically means that they split up into all these different little splinter groups. And what they're doing is they're just constantly reaping in money from unsuspecting victims. Say, for instance, there's an apartment building in Dubai and they hire 4 or 5 US models. And those 4 or 5 US models are live talking to people on the phone. And the person on the other end of the phone thinks that they're actually not who they say they are, but because it's a real person and it's live, it's actually better than having, oh no, sorry, I can't come to the phone right now. You know, I can't. Like, it actually sucks people in and they're giving them money. And then the whole building is full of these people that are doing this. It's us, it's the DCEs and the AFP that bring these people down, because we track down the payments, we put everything together. The AFP comes to us and asks us a question and goes, oh, actually, we line it up with Austrac, and we're the ones that bring, actually the international law enforcement agencies are the one that bring them down, not the governments. Yeah.
I just want to, I'm not sure if everyone's heard or seen recently that there's actually AI deepfakes for video now. So people can actually think that you think, oh, okay, well, I'm going to jump on a video call with you and make sure you are who you are. Well, they can actually just take a photo and replace it. So you think that you are having a video call. And now there's even deep fakes with that. So
Everyone online thinks I look like Elle Macpherson. Is that the same thing? No.
Hi, yes, I've got a
sorry.
question.
Yes.
I'm just wondering what your opinion was, and by extension, Kraken's opinion on these like high-level scams, which kind of pass the scrutiny of a lot of people in crypto. These types of scams where they're basically like projects, group of developers get together and they launch a crypto, making claims that can never be fulfilled at a technical level. And, you know, they, elicit a lot of investment, and know that Kraken's got at least 6 listed on there, things that can never scale to the levels that they say they can scale, things, you know, they can't ever do. And they seem to kind of, you know, result in a lot of misallocation of capital in the sector. So I'm just wondering what your opinion and Kraken's opinion are on those sort of projects that can never really do what they're claiming to do, even though they're listed.
Yeah, I think that's really interesting. And actually, maybe afterwards you can maybe give me some of those names of the projects, because when it comes to listing tokens for Kraken, we don't list everything. And Kraken Australia may only have a subset of what the Kraken US or Kraken Europe or Kraken Poland, Cyprus, wherever list. It's up to each individual region of Kraken to actually allow the tokens to be listed. The token listing process is actually quite involved with for Kraken. I do have quite a bit to do with it, because as the compliance officer, I'm one of the last people to sign off. So it goes down a huge list of people, and compliance is one of the last ones to sign off before tokens get listed. It goes through a rigorous, the founders go through rigorous KYC, so know your customer, and anti-money laundering. They go through politically exposed persons, negative news checks, and they go through what's called RDC screening, which means that they pretty much go through Interpol and any sanctions and OFAC lists, as well as the designated persons list in Australia and designated individuals list for sanctions, to make sure that there's nothing untoward that's going on there. If we can't find the founders or the founders are anonymous, we will actually then ask for the founders to provide the information, that personal information to us confidentially. And then that's the way it's done. And then the rest, there's only certain people that see that information. And then based on the process, it's like, well, we've checked them out, they're good for it. And because it's an internal process, we believe the way that it goes through the chain. There's also the tokenomics that get looked at to make sure that they are reputable. But of course, there are some coins that get listed because they get listed. Dog with hat, Pepe, Dogecoin, you know, the Shiba Inu. There's a lot of them. There's even one out there at the moment called meme coin. It's just a meme. Like there's nothing to it. But I understand that there are some projects that ought to be scalable. And if they actually are not going to be able to be scalable, and it's obvious that that scalability isn't going to eventuate, then I think that, yeah, it would be really valuable for me to know about those ones, and maybe we can have a conversation afterwards. But I will say that token listing is taken very seriously at Kraken.
Hi. Do you scammers have some preferred crypto? Do they have some preferred cryptocurrencies, like some cryptocurrencies that they like more than the others? And do they have some common characteristics like those currencies?
Stable coins aren't a bad choice for crypto scammers. USDT is a really good one. If you're a scammer and you want to make it easy on yourself, just use USDT. USDT is a very good one for the investment scams that often target the retirees or the pension fund, the pensioners that have very little funds, because it's very easy for them, the pensioner, to put some money in, they buy the USDT, they put the USDT in the pensioner's account so that they can see it. They convert it to Aussie and take it out, and they go, woohoo, I've just made $50. And I actually very recently came across a pattern of those. I was looking at accounts of people that were aged over 80, and 95% of them had this pattern of Aussie dollar in, convert to USDT, convert back to Aussie dollar out. And then this is how it was going. And then, but the Aussie dollar deposits were getting higher and higher and higher, and the USDT was getting lower and lower and lower, because, or there were big chunks of USDT and it was going straight out to a wallet. It wasn't getting withdrawn back to an Australian bank account. So USDT is a good one. Bitcoin, no. ETH, no. I would say mostly USDT, or sometimes, interestingly, Solana. And I think that's because people like to think that they're, you know, a bit cool, maybe. I don't know. Yeah, oh, sorry, I'm going to go for this guy. Sorry, he's been trying.
No, thank you very much for your talk. I'd be really interested to understand the growth rate of crypto scams. Is it greater than the growth rate of scams in general? And do you think that's linked to just more people taking up crypto, or is it linked to just more criminal activity within crypto? And then actually just building on the last question, I'd be very interested to know if Tether are doing anything about scams in USDT.
Actually, yeah, that's an interesting one. I don't think Tether can. Tether's available, and I think that it wouldn't matter, because I think the nature of crypto is that it's available to everybody. It's immutable. It's everything. So it's just the currency of choice. You know, and I think it's because it's US dollars too, right? So it makes it a lot more portable, I guess, would be the question. I'll go back to the first part, and that was about crypto scams and the adoption. Look, someone gets scammed with a bank account, and then it gets transferred to crypto, and guess what? It's a crypto scam. I think it depends on where it ends up. I think that the responsibility for scammers lies both with the banks and with anyone who is available out there to be scammed, but it really does lie with the banks and the crypto exchanges working together. Now, DECA, is that how I'm going to say it? DECA has a working group where we do talk about scams, and then the digital currency exchanges has its own working group where we all get together and discuss these kind of things. And what we want to do is come up with a public service campaign that actually allows people to see how prevalent scamming is. I'm not sure that crypto scams are more prevalent than any other type of scam, but I will say that it's kind of a disruptor in the industry because it allows scammers to increase their reach and increase their the way that they go with their technological knowledge. Now, I know that one of my sons and my husband are here tonight and they hear this story all the time, but did you know that in North Korea, Mr. Korean man who works for the government says, thanks for my rice and beans. And then off he goes and he clocks in to the government. He does his little Bundy card and he sits down and he works all day on scamming people and technology. And lunchtime, he clocks off, he goes off, he has his lunch, talks to his mates, he comes back. He does it until knock-off time. And he Bundy's out and he goes home and someone else takes over. It is a full-time 24-hour job in North Korea, and they are going further and further and further as technology increases. So it's really just about how smart the scammer is.
This is going on YouTube, so please take care with the references to certain states. But no, I'm trying to be funny.
Yeah.
I'm trying to be funny. Oh, that failed. Sorry.
Yeah,
everyone.
sorry, Matt.
I've hijacked the question. Electra, please bring us some female grace and sense as you do.
Thank you, Matt. Lisa, wonderful talk, and really good how you spoke to where to go to for help if you're concerned about being scammed. And I just wanted to get your opinion on one suggestion, which may be to speak to your public accountant, because accountants, we all talk to each other. There may be one group where I get tagged in, where we say, oh, I've got a client who's been doing this, or they're asking about this. Is this a scam? And we know we all talk to each other. We've also been trained in mental health first aid and in scams. Yeah, just as a public resource, it's often the person that someone might trust before they go and speak to someone they know, because it's confidential. So what do you think about?
Yeah, no, I mean, I totally agree. And I think that that's something that to be fair, I didn't think about, but often you're more than likely to go to someone who you know and trust, but might not be someone who's going to judge you. So I guess it would be like almost going to your doctor, like you know them and you have a relationship with them, but they're not going to necessarily judge you. They're just going to take the information on board. And I think that if you've got access to somebody who is knowledgeable, whether it could be your lawyer, it could be your accountant, it could be someone that's someone that's looped into another group that you may not necessarily know of, or has knowledge of something that's beyond your realm. I think that's really good advice. So to all of those in Webland and also here, though, I think that's a really good one. And I think that if I have the opportunity to give this kind of talk again, I will definitely include that. So thank you.
Okay. Oh, thank you very much for tonight, Lisa.
Welcome.
Look, I've been arm wrestling my banks for the last few months about the 10,000 a month limit onto exchanges.
Yes.
I'm not winning that fight, but one discussion with their security and crypto mob at a bank that only goes by the initial CBA. Sorry. She said that I can't remember, it was 60% or 80% of their account holders have been scammed, which just blew me away. And then I asked her, well, how much of that was crypto? And she wouldn't answer me.
No.
Would you happen to have some sort of figures or a guess of what that might be?
Yeah, that's a good question. And I'm going to have to say no, but I can take that on notice and get back to you if you really want to know the answer. But I will tell you that all digital currency exchanges at the moment are really struggling with the banks. And although the banks may purport to be supportive of those that, you know, their clients and those that are getting scammed, it's very hard for the digital currency exchanges at the moment to get a working group together. Having said that, I will say that CBA was one of the only ones that actually had all of us in quite a while ago, but had all of us in to actually talk about scams and what to do. And there is an initiative there. It's just very hard to get things rolling.
I mean, not to defend them, but the banks do have a whole departments dedicated to this. Sophie Gilder from CBA is actually quite very well versed in our space, among others. But look, it's a complicated story. Well, I've checked with our chief libertarian and Michael over here, and we're not going to get into that whole argument. But it is interesting. Any females? We've got some very smart lawyers in the space. Any female questions? Any questions from the lawyers in the space or our trader friend? No, there was a half a hand there. I've got one more up the back, and I think we're going to have to wrap this.
Okay, thanks for that excellent overview, right? My question is on, you mentioned that crypto payments are not financial products. So only ACCC can cover our bases, like in case a fraud happens and we are a victim. If it does not fall under the purview of ACCC in Australia, are you basically unprotected then?
Well, the thing is, when it comes to any banking products, in terms of financial supervision or any product, just any product, doesn't matter what it is, whether it's a warranty, it could be a fridge, it could be your mortgage, it could be anything. There are two main regulators to go to. If it comes under a financial product, as per the definition of the Corporations Act, which currently doesn't include crypto, but if it comes under as a financial product, then it's ASIC. If it comes under something else, it could be a warranty on your fridge, or it could be your crypto spot. You could be your crypto service. It could be anything. But spot crypto products at the moment are not considered financial products by ASIC. And as a result, ASIC doesn't necessarily have that oversight under Chapter 7 of the Corps Act, but the ACCC does. So if you ever have any issues with your digital currency exchange or your provider, it's best to approach them first, and then they will always, by law, have to give you an option and routes to actually go to an external independent party to actually solve the dispute that you have, or you can go straight to the ACCC. Only in Australian law.
New Zealand?
In New Zealand and America and any other region will have their own version of consumer protection authorities. But, America is another matter again, because at the moment, the SEC and the CFTC can't decide which is which. But there are consumer protection authorities that you can go to in any country of the world, and they will be able to direct you in the right space. But also just go to your exchange. If you have an issue with your exchange, go to them. And in Australia, by law, they have to give you a way out.
On that note, many thanks to Kraken and Lisa Hornery. Kraken, our event sponsor tonight.
Thanks very much.
That was wonderful. Thank you, Lisa. We finally got to do an event together. So we've been talking about that for about 2 years. So that's wonderful. I'm going to switch this one off and just move on to the next slide. Thank you so much, Lisa. That was wonderful. Thank you, Kraken, major event sponsor. Don't forget our community hub, another QR code, a safe one for you to scan. And what a wonderful walk around the world that Lisa inhabits. I don't know if I could do that 6 days a week, but good on Lisa for the level of knowledge that she has and puts into that, and the efforts that Kraken go to and other DCEs in Australia. So thank you very much, Kraken, for tonight. Don't forget, next month, we're going to go a bit more technical, philosophical into the existence and the meaning of Web3 in our lives as we become Web3 natives. For now, though, I'm seeing plenty of pizza, albeit a little bit cooled. A few beverages still remain, so hang around. Thank you very much for those of you on Zoom. We do appreciate you joining in. There was a near record attendance on Zoom again tonight. The numbers keep ticking up there. So thank you for joining for wherever you've been. And this has been All Things Blockchain for September 2024. Thank you and good night.